Did you have a nice sleep?
I did.
I did. Close my eyes.
Breathe deeply.
Stick my lips together.
Did you put your lips together?
Like that.
With your teeth?
No.
All right, make sure you have your block and your strap as usual. Something to sit on or lie down and put your legs up over. And
Wait. Starting. Oh, I'm starting.
a lot of the theme of late has been how
Fred, not everyone is
making your
muted.
shoulder-
He was just kidding.
There we go. Better? How making your shoulders be able to function like they're supposed to in this balanced action makes your hips be able to unlock, makes any rotation that might be extra between the knee and the lower leg start to come out, and allows the both flexion and extension of the joints of the hips and the spine to work more correctly. So we're going to stay with that theme today and keep working on all different positions of the shoulders, and in an effort to get the rest of your body to just work. It's pretty amazing how when something unlocks that might be locked undoes itself, or you help to undo it, then the rest of it just functions. So whether we're going after better flexion or we're going after full extension, how that happens easily when this place is unlocked. So feet pointed straight ahead. Go ahead and start with shoulder shrugs today. A little bit of a squeeze between your shoulders, and then slide them up to your ears and push them down. Slide them up and push them down. Ten times. And just feel the muscles between the shoulder blades and the spine working. As you lift, you have the levator scapula that lifts the shoulder blade and comes down. I had the pleasure of having a massage the other night, and in that massage, he talked about that these upper three ribs are kind of this upper gate, and that perhaps when we evolved from quadrupeds to bipeds, that mechanism evolved in a way that is still connected to our emotions, and it can go out easily. So being able to have healthy movement, control, open scalenes is all really important. Good, one more set. Squeeze those shoulder blades, slide them up, push them down. And maybe sometimes we can do that with exercise, and sometimes it helps to have some manual work, some massage or craniosacral or some chiropractic to be able to help make sure that those places are still in really good alignment. And release. Nice. Take it into a shoulder roll, up and back and around, and feel that move more down your back. And just notice if there's a space in your body that's not taking that extension all the way down. So as I go up and back and around, I can feel that right side of my body. That's the side that often doesn't want to work quite as well. It's tighter through the hip and the shoulder. Just notice what's happening in your body, and can you bring it into better balance as you do that movement. Squeeze them back and bring them up and around. Same thing. And backwards again, up and back and around. your strap and place your strap around your elbows so that it is up there, and you can abduct your arms. So you're going to pull them apart, pull those arms away from each other and release. And just feel, it might feel really different between one side and the other. Pull, release. And you should feel it all the way back between the shoulder blades. Press, release, press, release. Keep going. Let's get about 20 of those in. That's about 20 for me. And then see if you can hold out with your arms and slide your arms up toward the sky, and then bend the elbow and slide it slowly back down. So holding a little bit of tension out, and you may need to just make it slightly wider so that that goes more easily. Elbows going up, shoulder blades coming up all the way up by your ears, and then elbows down, shoulders down, letting that glide through that pathway. Let's do about 10 of these. And then release. Go ahead and lie down on your back and keep your strap with you and make it a much bigger loop. Feet on the floor, knees bent. Arms out. And I want you to pull out away from you so that the muscles, again, between the shoulder blade and the spine work, but nothing is really moving. And release. Pull, release. Some tricep might engage. And when you've done about 10, flip your hands over so now your palms up, and do the same thing. That's going to turn the whole arm bone in the shoulder socket and give you access to some different muscles. Pull, release. And maybe you feel that shoulder blade slide a little bit closer to your spine. And then one hand up, one hand down, and then bring them up over your head and back up. Let's do 5 of those, nice and slowly. Feeling your whole body react to what's happening at your upper body. One more this way. And then switch. One hand going up, the other hand turning under. And just feeling how that feels. Feel the difference. 5 times slowly. Excellent. Grab your block. Now we're going to add some stability work to your pelvis while you're holding this. So both hands, palms down. Reach that up over your head. Pull out a little bit on that strap. So a little bit of tension away from each other. And just feel how much your upper back has to open, how much that shoulder has to change to be in that position. And then squeeze and release the block with your knees, bringing your leg bone and pelvis into stability with the reaction in your upper back. Squeeze and release. Again, a little bit of outward pull at the shoulders. That's about a set of 20. Then flip your hands over so the palms are going down and your thumbs are going out. And then bring them over again with a little bit of outward pull on that strap that way. So it's kind of like a floor block position. Feel as even as you can between the two sides in your shoulders. And if you can't go all the way up here, if that's uncomfortable in your shoulders, you could be here and that would be just fine too. You'll get similar muscle activation, just a little bit less thoracic extension. So find where it's okay for your body. And then another set of 20 squeezes. Excellent. Now pelvic tilts, hold the squeeze with your knees, and then move your pelvis and spine between the shoulder girdle and the leg bones. All the way flat, low back, all the way up. See if you can free up your axial skeleton, your torso, from your appendages, your appendicular skeleton. A little bit here. Excellent. And release. Come all the way back up to standing. And we're going to go into a forward fold. Be gentle. I realize this is early. Lift your kneecaps up. So engage your whole leg, pulling the whole thigh up as much as you can. Just cross your elbows and feel where your body wants to go today. Taking it over, moving into flexion, keeping those thighs tight, legs straight. Maybe you start to feel that work that we just did through your upper body, letting your head drop and your spine round, keeping your thighs tight. Just breathe and hold. And as your middle back and low back let go, maybe you get more to the hamstrings. Be mindful that the tension is in the belly of the hamstring and not up around the attachment. Keep pulling those thighs up. Go ahead and switch which arm was hanging down. Letting those shoulders come up towards your ears. Thighs staying tight. Feet relaxed. 3 more breaths. And then use your butt muscles to come all the way back up. And then come down into a child's pose. So into some more flexion, knees together, feet together, or knees out. You can choose today what feels okay to you. Let's go arms out in front so that you're creating more space in your spine. And just let your tailbone begin to go down. Find your breath again. And breathe space into your spine. Feel the lower lobes of your lungs fill. And again, there's going to be a place where your body wants to let your tailbone begin to round down. And that's okay, where that thigh bone hits the top of the pelvis. Reach your arms out one more time. Get as long as possible between your hips and your shoulders. And come on up.
Were the knees wide on that, Kyra?
You can do them narrow or wide. Either way, whichever feels more comfortable for you today.
Okay.
As you come up slowly. I just got a little dizzy. Come up slowly. We're going to go back over into that hang. So thighs tight again. Legs straight and go over. I will say, if you have sciatic pain in this position, this is not one for you. Otherwise, should be okay for most people. And if your back is way up here still, then you may need to bend your knees a little bit and get your hips to be involved. If not, go back into that thigh tight and really work this whole front part of your body. I even want your abdominals. Abdominals are flexors. I want them to kick in right here and actually allow your spine in the low part to be flexing. So keep those thighs tight. Feel your belly. It should turn on automatically, but sometimes if we focus on, oh, that's a spinal flexor, it can work here. And let some of those lumbar muscles open up. And then finally, your hips should kick in. And then one more time, coming down into that child's pose. So you choose knees together, feet together, or knees a little bit apart. And sit back. Find your breath. Let's go over to one side, over to the left. Feeling that whole right side between the hip and the shoulder. Big full breaths into that space. And over to the other side. Now feeling that left side between the hips and the ribs and the ribs and the shoulder. And just feel that space open. Notice if there's a difference between the two sides. And then come back to the center. Now, as long as it's okay for your knees, we're going to go into some hero squats. If it's not okay on your knees, you could sit up on a block and just hold this position, or you could even just sit in a chair and just hold the position with your hands behind your head. You could even do a sit to stand if that would feel fine. So sitting in a chair and doing the same exercise from sitting to standing as we're doing from hero squats up. So if it's okay on your knees, go into this position, take your hands behind your head and connect your shoulders all the way into your hips and just feel, do both hips sit evenly, and then go ahead and put an arch into your low back. and let that communicate into those extensors all the way up your whole spine. And then you're going to press through your feet and lift all the way up and then come back down. So from here, down into that position, and your toes can pigeon toe and your heels can go a little bit out to the side. That will let that lower leg rotate just like it needs to. Really connect into both shoulders, pulling them as far back as you can, and just feel both sides of your back as you press all the way up, squat, and down. That's 2. We have 8 more. The key to this one is really to get those arms back and keep that little arch in your low back. And again, please be mindful, does this feel appropriate in your body? If it does not, skip it or do sit to stands. One more. And release. Coming down onto your back. Femur rotations. Arms out to the side. Let's take your arms under. So we did this hand position before. Now let's take the shoulders and have them go into that internal rotation. And first, as you do that, just feel how well does the shoulder blade slide in toward your spine to allow for this arm bone to rotate. And you might even just think of how can you get that middle part of your back to move out of the way a little bit so that shoulder blade can slide down. Now, if that's too much, you could be in any version of that. Maybe out here. Just feel if it's okay. You could also just have your arms out like this. That would be fine too. But if you can handle some internal rotation, let's go for it. And then 10 femur rotations, rotating from the hip all the way out, all the way in. And switch. Out and in. First side again. Second side again. All the way, see if you can get the pinky toe to touch the floor, big toe to cross the center line. And then bend both knees. Go ahead and open your arms back up again and pelvic tilts one more time. All right, let's use some abdominals. Hands back underneath you one more time. You can this time put them a little lower into your body so that you help your pelvis tip slightly backwards so that you use your abdominals, arms out to the side, elbows off the floor, chin tucked, and find those belly muscles. 20 pointed toe kicks. and then pull it in, and then 20 kicks, flutter kicks with your feet flexed. Same thing, out, little bit of a tuck, feet flexed, elbows high, kicks. In, pull it in. Onto your hands and knees. Go ahead and tilt your pelvis slightly under, so tailbone slightly under, tuck your toes under, and then hover your body up off the floor, feeling again, pressing through your hands, feeling your abdominals, turning on all those muscles. Hold and breathe. And release it back down. Once again, little bit of a tailbone tuck, little bit of a squeeze at your glutes, tuck your toes under, find your low belly muscles, hold a plank, or a hover, really, not quite a plank. And come down. Now let's do that with a different pelvic position. So now go ahead and let your low back arch a little bit, the pelvis roll over the top of the femurs, tuck your toes, and hover again. And release your feet, cats and dogs. Feeling the shoulder blades slide toward your spine and away from your spine, making that full range of motion. And we're gonna go into some rotations. Come into a sitting floor twist, crossing that left leg over your right, squeezing it all the way in, make both butt cheeks stay rooted down on the floor, and left hand behind you, twist. Full deep breaths. Feeling both sides of your seat rooting down to the floor so that you can keep twisting around. Your shoulder blade hugging down and back toward your spine. That will help you twist more through your thoracic back into the lower back. And release. Switch. Hug that right leg in, right hand behind you, twisting. Again, feel your seat root into your seat to rise up. Pull the shoulder blade toward your spine. Open that space. Allow rotation to happen through your spine. Allow the breath to open up more spaces in your torso that you can move into or twist farther into. Untwist. Come down onto your back. We're going to go into a modified IT band stretch, but we'll go into it with some knee drops first. So arms out to the side. Let's go knee drop, feet slightly wider than your hips. Knee drops to the right. Feel your shoulder blades gently squeeze underneath you. And slowly come up. Allow your whole body to react to that. Knee drops to the left. we need the obliques to rotate. We need the psoas or the iliacus to pull that hip around. We need internal rotation with that leg bone. There's a lot of coordination that has to happen all the way through the body. To allow everything to rotate like it needs to. One more set of knee drops. Feel all the way from your shoulder down your back into the inside of that hip and that whole leg bone twist. And now take it into a version of a modified IT band stretch. Take it over to your right side, hook your right heel on top of your left knee and open that up. And then take your left arm and bring it up over your head and just let from the arm bone into the shoulder, the upper back extend into the low back, all the way down to the inside of the knee and then all the way to the big toe. And just breathe there. Let's take 5 full breaths in and out through your nose if you can, or at least in through your nose. And come up. Both feet on the floor. Now over to the left, hooking the left heel on top of your right knee, pulling that into that big internal rotation of that hip, reaching your arm up and over your head and feeling from the arm bone into the shoulder, down through the quadratus lumborum and lumbar spine, into the inside of that hip, that iliacus attaching to that inside of that hip bone, and the adductors all the way down to that foot. And just have some space in and out through your nose. And come up. Both feet on the floor, rock it back and forth, pelvic tilts. Move slowly as your body reacts to that big twist. If you need to scoot your shoulder blades underneath you a little bit more, that might be helpful for allowing that big range of motion through the low back. All right, pull your knees in toward your chest and just feel kind of like happy baby. Pull them all the way in, free up the leg bone from the pelvis as much as you can. Hug them in, point your toes. See if you can get the muscles all the way down at the underside of your legs. Those are plantar flexors. Underside of the leg, they help determine the position of the tibia and the fibula on the lower leg into the knee. And maybe even you could find some muscles at the bottom of your feet that cramp a little bit in that point. Just see if you can turn those on and just have awareness of muscles around your toes, the arch of your foot, the lower leg, even into the hips, and then take it back into flexion and go back again. Let's do really slow, like 5-point inflexes. So your upper body is being held by the floor, not allowing any extra rotation. That drives the correct position into the lower leg. Point and flex. Once again, see if you can find some muscles that would cramp that maybe haven't been so active in this position, and they get to turn on and work. And then all the way up, taking your legs to straight, pulling your feet down and back down. Go ahead and take them all the way to the ground. So hip flexors, then into quads, working that knee just like a hinge, pulling the ankles down, lengthening the whole back side of the leg, coming down, releasing. Now I'm trying to set you up to maybe do a plow today. It's also a move that you can decide if it's appropriate for your body. Good, feet on the floor, lift your hips, and then walk each shoulder blade underneath your spine so that you're once again kind of rolling your upper arm bones together, making that upper back as open as possible. And then coming down. Once more, lift your hips and roll those upper arm bones in. And release. Pelvic tilts one more time. So you decide if this is at all appropriate for your body today. This is a plow. You're going to take your legs up and over. And some people may say yes. You may feel like this is not okay for your neck or for your body. If that feels true to you, follow your instincts. Skip it. If it feels like, yep, my body wants to do that, then join me. Taking it up. Feeling things open on this whole flexion side. You can tighten your thighs again. Find your belly muscles. Let different parts of your back open up. And then slowly come back down. And then just take a moment to let your body settle on the floor and breathe. You have one more opportunity to try it out. If you would like, if you would not, again, go ahead and skip it. Feel your shoulder blades hug under your spine. Find your abdominal muscles. Take it up and over. And then come on back down. As you come down, feet on the floor, knees bent. Find your glutes. Tighten and release your butt muscles. Squeeze and release. Grab your block again. Put it between your knees and do a set of squeezes. 20 squeezes. and release. Come into a downward facing dog pose. Tuck your toes, press up and back. You decide if you want your knees to be bent and to work on getting your sit bones higher to the sky, or if you can work your legs towards straight, maintaining good arch in your low back. Hang out there and breathe. And release. Let's go one set of push-ups today. You could do them however you like. You could do them with your knees super bent like this and just work on going down. You could do them with your body more straight or up on your toes. 10 push-ups. After we did all that work in our shoulders, let's use it. Back into your downward facing dog pose. And release. And foot circles, point flexes. One leg in, shoulder blades down and back, 20 circles. Dropping that other leg out straight on the floor. Reverse. Point and flex. And switch sides. Big circles. Reverse. Point and flex. And then come on up all the way to standing. Let's use that. Grab your block if it is supportive at all for you, or you could have a chair. I want you to take a deep squat to one side and open up that whole hip. And then use it to come up and gently come down over into that other side. And up and over. And up and over. Up and over. And then up to standing. Bringing your legs in all the way up on your toes 10 times. Then out to the sides. Feel that whole rotation move outward and your butt muscles start to turn on, shoulders open, and then lift and lower. And pigeon toe your feet, bringing them all the way in. Roll the weight to the insides of your feet. Feel that difference in the hip move up your whole body. And lift and lower. And then back to straight. And then finally today we'll end with an air bench. In the exercise part, walk it out, slide down the wall. You could do a free squat. If you don't have a way to do an air bench, you could just do a free squat. That would be fine too. Holding that position or even going here. Lengthening, finding that neutral position. If you have a wall and it's easy for you to do it, use your wall to slide down into your air bench. Go ahead and press your low back flat to the wall. Let that move all the way up your spine. Getting as close to 90 as you can. Feeling all your quad muscles turn on, belly muscles active. And your head back. In and out through your nose, 5 deep breaths. And come on up. Just check that. That was a lot of movement today. A lot of movement in your shoulders, a lot of movement in your spine. See how that's doing. And then go ahead and lie down on your back, legs up, or come to your seat or whatever position that you would like to just hold presence for a few moments. So as you close your eyes and come into this feeling of sensation in your body, see if you can become aware of whatever is in the way of being present. And see if you can just investigate that for a moment. Or if there is anything, I don't mean to make the assumption that something is in the way. But when you come to the feeling in your body, the sounds that exist right here, notice if your mind is wanting to have chatter. And see if you can just ask it to hold open space for a few moments. Feel your breath move in and out of your body. Experience whatever is here right now. Even what's arising in this moment. And if you notice that you're thinking, simply name it and come back to the sensations. This may be the only moment in your day that you are right here with nothing else pulling your attention away from the right now. Experience it fully. If your eyes have been closed, see if you can gently open your eyes. That adds a lot of stimulation, but you're able to still be right here in the moment. Keep your visual field open and wide and just experience what you're seeing right here. see if you can take 3 more breaths and stay with the sensation of your breath and whatever's in your visual field. And just be with it for those 3 breaths. Experience your beingness right now. And with a breath, bring some movement back to your body. Of course, you're always welcome to just turn off your computer and stay here. Or you may take a few moments to visit and come back around.
So Kyra, I know